movie fans. So Marvel has this series that's streaming on Disney Plus right now called She-Hulk: Attorney at Law. And I've kind of heard a lot of mixed reviews from people here and there, but personally, I think it's a lot of fun. I really like it. I like this strong character who then gets super strength, right? She's awesome. Jen Walters, a lawyer, and now she's a She-Hulk. So let me just tell you what's really happened for me that's made a big difference. When I realized the show is exactly what it set out to be from the beginning, that has helped me to enjoy these episodes a lot more. Well, I mean, I liked them from the get go, anyways, but um, at first, I thought that the first episode was just introducing us to the character, but really, she said, like it's about her going back to her life as a lawyer, even though she has now become a Hulk. And so, what's that like? How do you balance life as an attorney and a Hulk? And that's what the show is. It's her as an attorney and a Hulk, and sometimes as an attorney as a Hulk, right? So, that is really the premise for this series, and that's what it's been. Just her balancing that life. And yeah, I don't know, looking at this show as like a lawyer sitcom really just has made a difference, Like the episodes are about court cases and what she's going to do as a lawyer to solve those cases and stuff. Like, that's kind of cool. But maybe still there is an underlying buildup happening that we're going to see like all come together. I'm kind of leaning towards that way. But in these early episodes, yeah, just thinking of them as different cases, it's really cool. Let's go to episode 3, okay? Episode 3, for example, I was thinking at first that Emil Blonsky was going to be the overarching story for the series. Nope. We had our case with the Abomination, and that was the case. During that episode, we also had a side story with a shape-shifting elf from New Asgard, which was really interesting, right? The way that she would switch into other people to try to get her way. Hilarious. That was really fun. The inclusion of Wong into the series, that's pretty great. Sorry, Jen, we really do like Wong. We like him. But, question. Does Wong, in episode 3, he made a reference to not using the erasing memory or the forgetting memory spell again? Does that kind of constitute a plot hole? Like, it seems as if it's being put there to, reflect back on what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home, but like, shouldn't Strange using that spell to make everyone forget Peter Parker was Spider-Man, like, wouldn't that mean that Wong wouldn't have any memory of it being happening at all? I don't know. Seemed kind of funny. But yeah, lots of fun stuff in episode 3. The media outside, hilarious, right? Is it true you were rejected by the Avengers? There's a new media story for you, right? This case, though, with Blonsky, bringing in witnesses, right, to vouch that he's been doing good, that he's changed. And of course, what it all comes down to then is Wong. Well, and Blonsky's soulmates. The humor that's thrown into the show is just great. So funny. Wong's told, though, that by him busting Abomination out of prison, that he's committed a crime. And I love Wong's response. I must depart. He just leaves. But then, you know what? Jen knowing how to use the evidence to win the case is really what it comes down to, right? She's had the testimonials. She has him shape-shifting into the Abomination. I don't know if shape-shifting is the right word. Turning into Abomination. But then, yeah, she uses that to prove, hey, he could have left at any time, and he didn't. So, and the fact that he came back willingly, yeah, amazing. Helps her to win the case. That's really cool. So then, because it is a courtroom show, we also get to see Jen being a witness in the shape-shifting elf case. So that side story tied back into the overall, right? And then, there's some other really curious things, though. So that was cool how that tied up that episode and whatever. But after Emil Blonsky is, basically getting pardoned, he says to Jen, "I'm in your debt." So I wonder if that's going to come back. I wonder if that's going to matter. Like, will Abomination be back? Is he going to help? I don't know. Interesting, right? And then we also get at the end of episode 3 where Jen gets jumped. She gets mugged by a group of people who, she's like, "Did you steal these from an Asgardian construction worker?" And they have something going on, right? They say, like, you can't just strut around your powers and not back it up or whatever. But it seemed like they had a mission, right? They had a needle, stab, breaks. The needle breaks, can't break her skin. And they said something about, like, the boss is going to be mad. And we were left with that at the end of episode 3, right? Let's move ahead to episode 4. Wong. More Wong. Really? What? It wasn't just a one-time thing? It wasn't just a one little cameo? No, we get more Wong. And in episode 4, there's this magician dude who uses a sling ring and uses Doctor Strange magic. What?
Oh, we could portal there.
What?
I'm magic now.
Yeah, no, he's right. Yeah, he can.
Yeah, we saw.
Yeah, he is.
Wait, really?
Dude, I got Doctor Strange magic. Wait. Yeah. And I promise you, I won't turn into a supervillain and try to kill you.
Well, no, it's not Ned. It's a guy named Donnie Blaze. And crazy how at his magic show he asks for a volunteer. He brings up this girl. She's kind of funny, like, what? And then who knew that she was going to end up becoming a character in the show, right? Madison with 2 N's and a Y, but it's not where you think, which is funny because that's totally where I thought. Like, that's where I would have put the Y when she said 2 N's and a Y. But, whatever. Not only was I not expecting this to be a character, like, to come back, but never would have expected to enjoy her so much. Love the running gag of her spoiling the show that Wong's watching. Like, that's funny. And calling him besties, that's great.
Oh, did you get a ticket for texting? Just say you were texting 911. They can't prosecute.
That isn't what this is, and that's not true.
But I think there's some deeper things that happened here. I don't know about for the She-Hulk series itself, but maybe for the MCU, because we see interdimensional traveling happening here. That really could end up being a big deal with the MCU. Wong says things like risks of untangling the material and astral planes, the demons that Donnie Blaze accidentally summons when his spell goes wrong. Didn't they kind of remind you of Shang-Chi a little bit? With that big barrier and then, like, the demons coming from the other dimension, like, very much like Shang-Chi. So there seems to be something with that in the MCU. But yeah, so that's something going on in episode 4. We also have Jen's dating life becoming a prominent part of the story. And why are bad dates so funny? Like, why is it so hilarious to just see people totally biff it on dates? Like the guy is just, like, on his phone the whole time, totally misses everything, and then he's talking on his phone as he walks away about her. Like, so embarrassing. But yeah, it does bring some extra fun humor into the show. And, it was still a clever decision that she wanted to make a She-Hulk profile with the dating app. So that's interesting. But you know what? One thing that I really have loved about the show, and episode 4 really did this for me, was it shows that the show works as a court show, as a law show. Like, it's not her being a superhero all the time and that's what the story revolves around. Like, it works as a law show. The court cases are so fun to follow, and it's awesome to see them unfold and see how they get resolved. For example, using a demon to threaten Donnie Blaze to honor his cease and desist order. So it still blends the two worlds of superhero and lawyer. Way fun. All right, then we had episode 5. In episode 1, there was this Titania person who busted into the courtroom, and, I kind of maybe thought that was it for her. Nope. She wasn't really in trouble for those courtroom antics, which was announced in episode 4, as well as what was announced in episode 4 at the end of it, was that Titania was suing Jen because Jen was using a name Titania had trademarked.
I've got court documents filed by Titania Worldwide LLC.
She's suing me over the name She-Hulk? But that's my name.
What? So that then becomes the main storyline of episode 5, is figuring out this case. How is Jen going to win this case where she's being sued for using the name She-Hulk because Titania got to the trademarking of it first? That's how that works, right? But man, it was so much fun to watch this case that really is about her name. And it's a name that she hasn't liked or really embraced. But even when it seemed like she was not going to be able to win this case, then, boom, her use of She-Hulk for the dating profile ends up being what helps her, because all those guys come in as witnesses and prove that she is identified by the name She-Hulk prior to the trademark. So, helps her win the case. That's awesome. And that was way fun seeing that unfold. That case was taken on by Mallory, who's played by Renee Elise Goldsberry. Very, very strong actress. Thought she has been an incredible asset to this series. You might know her from Hamilton, where she played Angelica Schuyler. So that's really fun. And yeah, she does a great job. There was also a little side thing too with a couple other of the co-workers, a guy named Pug, and then Jen's best friend Nikki, where Pug is like, hey, I gotta go get these Iron Man 3 shoes. He's a shoe collector. And he wants one to rock and one to stock. So that's so fun, so funny. Shoe collecting that, like, that's smart, you know. But because of him and because of Nikki, they connect Jen to a superhero costume maker. And she's all like, nah, I don't think I knew that. And the girls are like, you do. You definitely need a new wardrobe. So he's the guy she's going to for that. Interesting. I think there's going to be more there. Also, we had at the end of the court scene when Jen did win the case against Titania, Titania says,
This isn't over, hater.
That then leads us right into episode 6. Episode 6, Jen is invited to become a bridesmaid for an old high school friend. And as she walks into, go see her old friend and all the other bridesmaids, she's coming in with a lot of confidence as She-Hulk. But the bride does not want to be outshone by a superhero. And she's like, don't want you to be all hulky at my wedding. But guess who else shows up at the wedding?
Hey, Jen. So good to see you. I love that you never make any effort at all.
What are you doing here? This is my friend's very real wedding.
That's right, Titania. She said this wasn't over, right? And yeah, so she's there, and Jen's like, what the heck? Why would you do this? They're all like, Jen, not everything's about you. And Jen just kind of getting dumped on in this episode. Jen, clean this up. Jen, iron these shirts. Jen, you're escorting the dog as your groomsman. Like, But then there's this nice guy named Josh who makes some connections with Jen in this episode. Should we be suspicious, though? Is there something sus going on? Or is he just a sincere good dude? I don't know. Then Titania attacks with the desire to publicly destroy Jen. Like, wants to take her out, wants to humiliate her in public. And then the DJ yells out to everybody, we got a wedding fight! Like it's like a thing or something. Kind of funny. Side story with episode 6 is about Mr. Immortal, and it's kind of a divorce case. So interesting, while Jen's at a wedding, there's a divorce case happening back at the law firm. Kind of interesting. Mallory's working on this case, and she has Nikki come along to help her. As they're talking and trying to figure things out, Mr. Immortal dude just jumps out the window. Like super crazy. So multiple fake IDs, fake deaths used to get out of marriages. But hey, I mentioned Renee Elise Goldsberry and how awesome she is. I love her running gag of don't touch me. Like anytime someone like puts their arm on her shoulder, don't touch me. It's like, I love that. Good recurring quote. Mallory and Nikki get everything figured out. It's so cool. They're kind of even connecting a little bit. But it's kind of sad to me that that's all happening without Jen because, she's gone. Also, while she's gone at the wedding, Jen does try to call Bruce. So keeping him relevant, I guess you could say. But I'm pretty sure he's off-world. And then we get this little bit about intelligentsia, some like internet thing, right? Where this was how one of the wives of Mr. Immortal learned that he was immortal and that he couldn't die. So Nikki goes to check that out and finds that in this intelligentsia thing, there are people who aren't just hating on She-Hulk, but like wanting to kill her. Is this connected to the 4 people that jumped her in the alley? They're like, boss is going to be mad. I'm pretty sure yes. We see people making a new needle. Is Josh connected to this? The guy that was really nice to her at the wedding? Maybe. I don't know. Could be. Also, there was a total Daredevil tease in episode 5 that had nothing to do with episode 6, but maybe he got next. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun with She-Hulk. I'm liking it. Can't wait to see the rest of it unfold, play out. And I really do think that, yes, it's been about these episodes and cases. I really think this underlying story that's been just kind of hinted a little bit at a time is building up, and it's going to be great. So thanks for checking this out. Stay safe out there. Hope you have a good one.